Well, hello, my soul friends. It's Victoria on the Soul Nurturer channel, and I have a topic that has been on my heart, been wanting to bring to all of you, and I've just been really sitting with it because I'm shifting perspectives on this really powerful spiritual tool, and I'm connecting it to our spring cleaning. We're still in spring, and we're going to talk about forgiveness today. Forgiveness is a powerful tool. It's a universal spiritual principle in most religions, and I have a different take on it. I love forgiveness. Now, don't get me wrong, but I want to offer some different perspectives today. But number one, I do want to say it is the most powerful, deep cleaning, deep healing spiritual tool we have. And since I've been talking about purging and clearing our external clutter and our inner clutter, there's no better topic than forgiveness. So thanks for joining me, and I'm going to dive into this topic in just a moment. But if this is your first time stopping by the Soul Nurturer channel, I love that I'm still here after just a whim to start a channel 4 years ago, because I, like many people, saw the world in chaos, and I said, what do I have to offer that might be of support to someone out there? What can I offer? And so I started a YouTube channel thinking I could offer my transformational tools. I'm a transformational hypnotherapist, maybe some spiritual perspective. I've been on a spiritual journey for my whole life. I studied at Agape with Reverend Michael Beckwith. Recently, well, 2020, I went and got my Jungian based spiritual direction training for 2 years and just expanded my spiritual toolkit with wonderful things that I love. And I've been doing soul work for many years, which includes dream work. And I do utilize the symbolic language of astrology and, oh gosh, all kinds of things. And recently this little thought came to me. When people ask what I do, how do I explain it? And this sweet little message came: I speak soul. So I speak soul. I do believe the philosophy that we are humans having we are souls having a human experience. And that's how I'm going to kind of address the powerful tool of forgiveness today from that perspective, from that lens. But anyway, if this is your first time popping by, please consider subscribing, liking, and commenting on this video. And I really invite you to go through previous videos and trust your intuition. Click on a video, maybe even go into the video a little bit and just listen to the message that's there. It's kind of like one of my favorite things to do when I need a little spiritual lift is to get a sacred book and flip it open and just point my finger and read whatever is there. And it oftentimes is exactly what I need. So I hope that maybe you find something on my videos or this one that is exactly what you needed to hear today for your being, just so that you feel seen, valued, lifted, inspired, and a reminder that you're not alone. We're all souls having a human experience, and sometimes we get stuck in the human experience. And this is why I wanted to talk about forgiveness, because I have been, like many of you, I know, I woke up, and then this is a time of huge transformation, huge waking up to liberate ourselves from conditioning, right? And our negative core beliefs and our old programming. But I really want to thank Pete Walker, a trauma specialist, for this like brilliant offering that opened everything up for me. He talks about the sympathetic response, which is the fight, flight, freeze response. And I was like, yeah, I'm not a fighter. I can certainly freeze. And I have certainly tried to run away from things to avoid, but didn't quite meet me. Maybe I'll do a whole other video on this because it's just such a healing principle. Anyway, he coined the fourth response, which I think it should be called reactions, but nonetheless, it's the sympathetic response. And that is fawn. The fawn response is connected to people who become people pleasers. When there's so much in your inner environment, you're family of origin that you learn like it's not safe to be you, and you don't know how to get your needs met, so you begin to people please, you begin to fawn, you begin to do whatever's needed to be liked and accepted in order to be safe. So that awareness was just, one of those and I just saw myself everywhere fawning, and I see people who fawn, and I have a lot of clients who are drawn to me who are ex people pleasers. So I'm looking at forgiveness from a different lens because I've been sitting with it in a new way. So I offer this to you and see if it lands with you. And please do comment. Anytime you hear me say something that resonates, put it in the comments. You're not limited to one comment. You are absolutely unlimited on my channel. Okay. By the way, another note here. I have been practicing going live on Tuesdays. I call it Transformational Tuesdays, to grow my ability to speak freely from my heart, to hold space in this very unique way of being live with people in chat, even though I don't see them. I'm trying to interact with them. And so last time, for the very first time, I did a live soul chart review, just a quick little peek at someone's chart for them. And of course, now I've got a lot of requests. So I am going to start doing this or adding it into my transformational talks on Tuesday. At the very end, I already have the person for next week and probably the following week. I think I'm only going to do one, maybe two. But if you are interested, send me an email at thesoulnurturer@gmail.com or go to my website, which is in the description, victoriajazwick.com, or go ahead and request a 20-minute free consultation with me. And this, I would say, because you're worth it, just if you feel resonance with me, schedule a session. You can do that through my website as well. Okay, so let's go into this topic. So again, this is for our inner work, spring cleaning, forgiveness. I just want to bring different perspectives to forgiveness because, yes, I was definitely of the mindset and still do hold the belief that forgiveness is the ultimate cleansing, healing. I mean, it's just powerful, right? And lately I've been like, wait a minute. Why am I always forgiving and always getting back in the same pattern with people? And so I'm recognizing some forgiveness as a spiritual bypass. If you go directly to forgiveness without doing the necessary inner work for healing, that's a spiritual bypass. And when you don't do the deeper healing, that issue is going to be on repeat for you until you do something different. Remember, again, souls having a human experience. Yes, our souls are just light and love and joy and peace, and we want to live from that place. Of course we do. But we have to deal with our human experience and other people's human experience, where our conditioning is, where our wounds are, where our fear lives, where we live in a very competitive world where it's, we've lost the sense of belonging and connection. So we have to address both. I think this is my philosophy anyway. So because, and here's some ways where I just want to give some grace to some people, because I know where you hear all the time, just forgive and move on, forgive and move on. And yes, wonderful. But why aren't we? Why sometimes is it hard to forgive and move on? Well, so I wrote a few notes. I'm going to glance at those as I do this video, because I want to really capture what I wrote. It was like, wow, just came out. And I was like, well, this is a really different shift for me. It helped me so much to make peace with some areas of where in the past I would forgive easily. And that was my go-to, forgive and forget. And then I kept getting hurt, or the same situation was happening and the person didn't seem like it mattered to them, really. So here's a couple things. Resistance to letting go of the inner clutter may be out of fear of repeating a cycle you no longer want to experience. So in other words, like, your psyche is protecting you. Like, yeah, forgiveness is powerful, but unless you do the inner work and course correct, learn the lessons, integrate the lessons, you may just be right back in that situation and be hurt by that person or disappointed by that person. So in other words, you're holding on to the situation so you won't be hurt again. Okay. Or you hold on to the experience, like say for instance, being betrayed. because you still don't trust the person who betrayed you. So it's like your psyche saying, not yet, not yet, you know? So, of course, and I always say this, you can forgive and you can love from a distance, you know? So that is a powerful way to do it. I know that most of us, especially if you are on a spiritual path, and especially if you're an empath, and especially if you have a compassionate heart, you, gosh, the greatest desire is for healing for both, right? Isn't it? But here's the thing that I find us compassionate people do, as empaths, we tend to, again, once again, skip over ourselves to make sure everything's okay with the other person while you're left still wounded. Okay, so when we're unwilling to forgive, but here's the other side of it. Okay, I'm going back to my notes. So the other side of it is if we're unwilling to forgive, we prevent our wounds from healing. So it's something that is needed, but I'm going to suggest a way to do it in the full deep dive, deep cleaning that is needed instead of the spiritual bypass or just the, expected platitudes. I don't know if that's the right word. I think it is. Sometimes words come, I'm like, I don't even know what that means. Does it fit? I think it does. I'll look it up. But, they expect it, like, oh, forgive and move on. So we do the niceties, we do the thing. And it's still not cleaned. It's not clear. And so what can happen then is we accumulate all of these, I want to say, insults against us. And it's like having a broken foot or leg and it's not properly reset. So you're hobbling along with the wound that never got the medicine of forgiveness in order to completely be cleared. So it is a powerful healing and cleaning agent. And ultimately, though, this is the key. Remember, and maybe you've heard this, if I spell this out for you, forgiveness is for giving freedom to ourselves and for clearing whatever's blocking our light, our soul, our joy. So it is important, but I guess there's a quote that I found. Maybe I'll read this now because I was looking through quotes and yeah, they're all about just forgive and it's so healing and it's yes, it is. But here, this is from Sue Monk Kidd. So I learned a long time ago that some people would rather die than forgive. Wow, that's heavy, but can be true. It's a strange truth, but forgiveness is a painful and difficult process. It's not something that happens overnight. This is kind of what I'm speaking to. It's not something that happens overnight. There's some deeper healing that needs to happen. It's an evolution of the heart. I love that. It's an evolution of the heart. And I almost didn't read the first part of I learned a long time ago that some people would rather die than forgive, because I also know there are people really, really stuck in their inability to forgive. And gosh, that pains my heart. I know some people like that. And our job is to not become those people and to recognize the place we need to hold ourselves with our wounds and at what level are we, at what stage of forgiveness are we in, I guess. Like, are we ready to forgive it all and be free? And we haven't done the inner work yet. And we're going to return back to the wounds. Or we've done our inner work. And I'm going to tell you more about this in a moment. And then the forgiveness comes from a clear space for you, clearing, tending and mending your wounds and offering the healing as a, not like, here, this is for you so that you feel better. It's for us to heal. It's for me as a person to heal and for you as a person to heal. So I'm going to come back to more of that kind of idea in just a moment here. So the thing that's challenging, though, is that, and I always say one of my favorite verses in the Bible is, forgive them, they know not what they do, because it does address the unconscious way people can hurt others, unintentionally, and yet nonetheless, the person is hurt. We could forgive that, but are we, the greater deep cleaning is to, if possible, have a conversation with the person. And if they cannot meet you where you need to be met, then that's another thing, right? And this is where we can get stuck. When you have an experience, and where you were hurt and the person is not capable, I want to say capable, of acknowledging your hurt, or taking responsibility, whether it is intentional or unintentional, for not taking responsibility for the way they contributed to your hurt, this can create a huge logjam in you, a huge logjam of your inability to forgive and move on. And it could also create a logjam in when you have these experiences over and over again. Who do you trust? How do you trust? So I'm going to get to that too. So a little aside here too, because have you had the experience where you've had a fracture in a friendship or a relationship, and you want to talk to them about it, and you're longing for that apology that doesn't come, or you're not being heard or seen where you need to be heard or seen, and it's baffling. Like, why am I made to feel bad by telling you what happened and what it was like for me? Well, some people aren't capable of meeting you where you need to be met. And so this is my aside for anybody out there who will take this in. And I mean, we should learn this in kindergarten, right? Forgiveness 101, I call it. If you have hurt someone intentionally or unintentionally, don't justify the behavior. Don't go into your excuses or your things that have happened to you that made you do this. Take responsibility for your actions and listen to the person that's sharing with you. I feel very hurt here. In other words, don't discount what they're sharing with you. Say something like this: I see that I hurt you, and I deeply apologize for that. Maybe you want to even reflect back. I see that I hurt you when so you really are telling the person, I'm with you. I see what I did. I see how it landed. And, I apologize. But here's the key thing that's missing. Ready? Because anything short of that is a half-assed apology, in my opinion. Here it is. What do you need from me in order for you to forgive me? What is it you need? What is it you need? The reason why this is key is oftentimes where we're wounded is that a need or a value has been compromised. What is it you need? Maybe it's, I need you to reflect back that you hear what I've told you. I need you to keep what I share with you private, not share it with other people. I need and value loyalty. So when this thing happened and I felt betrayed, I need loyalty, and I need you to get that's important to me and what it would look like differently instead of what happened. And that's also a key point too. Like if the person's like lost, like I don't even know what the problem is. Here's what I needed and here's what would have worked better for me. So then you can instruct them if this is a relationship you want to keep, because some people, again, aren't capable. Some people don't want to meet you where you are or aren't interested. And some people can't take responsibility, and that's okay. That doesn't mean we can't forgive. We're going to get there. So back to the main topic. Forgiveness is for us. It's the heavy duty cleaner that we do to do our deep inner cleaning. In this case, our spring cleaning. We clear the way so that we have more of our soul expanded, more spaciousness for our authentic self to shine through. So again, I'm not inviting you to just forgive and forget and move on. No, I don't believe in that anymore. I think I used to. I'm inviting you to engage in a deeper cleaning and a deeper healing. So unless we're able to forgive, I think I mentioned this, all of these past things that can accumulate, and perhaps people like this, they just accumulate all of their resentment and all their stuff. And honestly, I'm going to be really transparent. I was noticing some accumulation in me. So I've been praying every day for a different way to forgive. Every day, I'm telling you, listen to this prayer every day about, Lord, help me just get into a deep forgiveness that I'm clear, but help me understand. And this is what came to me. So I hope it helps somebody out there, because it really helped me. It was like, the light bulbs. I get it. I see this. Okay. I hope it helps. So the deeper cleaning is the ability to take the current issue that you're in, like a place where you're unable to forgive, and follow the trail. Where is it connected to you? Where is this like reminiscent of another time something like this happened? Especially if you have a big reaction, there's probably a lot of history there. And that doesn't take the person in the present moment completely off the hook, although we do offer some grace, especially with our partners, when they try to take the band-aid off of an old wound and it feels like they've wounded us. That's a whole nother video, another deep dive. But so this was a little complicated, so I want to make sure I get it clear to you. So you want to follow the thread of where is this connected to you? Where is this familiar? When is another time this happened, right? And then you want to connect it to the beliefs that were generated, because negative core beliefs are created when a need is not met. And so oftentimes that's, again, what happens when we feel hurt or injured is when something we value or need is compromised. So we want to take it to the original. When is the first time that this seems familiar, where a need like this wasn't met? Okay. And then what lessons are you learning in the current situation? In other words, what can you do differently? How can you course correct? And then what do you need in order to completely forgive them and be free? So healing and transformation through forgiveness happens when you do the inner work, when you get to the root of the issue. So here's some examples. Okay. What do I value, or what need was compromised from the experience that I'm still stuck in not being able to forgive? For instance, I touched on this. You were betrayed. You shared some private information and it was told to somebody else, or you had an agreement and it was broken. So what do you value instead of being betrayed? You value loyalty, right? That's usually the connection. You have a need for loyalty. So by identifying the need that was compromised, you can assess something important that can help you forgive and move on while doing the important inner updating, course correcting, so that in the future you've done your cleaning, you've done your side of the street clean, so that you're setting yourself up for greater opportunity, for greater connection, either with the person that's harmed you or not them, and other people, because I'm going to get to this, how we teach people how to be with us. So let's see what I wrote here. You must become aware of the person you are wanting. Oh, you have to get, this is really important. You have to be honest. Is the person you're wanting the apology from, or the way you want to be seen and heard in the apology, do they have the capacity or not? One of my favorite healing reminders from 12-step work I did a long time ago, I did codependency, I did ACA. I think those were the ones I went to. Very helpful. Adult children of alcoholics. Yeah, that's the one I went to. So I love this. You don't go to the hardware store for milk. Why? It's not there. It's not available there. So some people are just not up to capacity, or do not have what we need and we deserve. And that's okay. It's just awareness. Don't go back to somebody who doesn't have the capacity to meet you where you desire at this time. I mean, we always hold hope for maybe they'll do some deep healing. And I love when I know people that go into 12-step or into deep transformational work, and they get to this place of awareness, like, I see all the things I did in my the tracks I've left behind me, or in my wake, and they make genuine, heartfelt, soul-aware amends. Is that the word? Amends? Like making amends, like, I see what I did. Not like, well, I did this because you did this and you don't see what was going on with me and I was having no. Clearly from the heart, directly to the person who needs your heart, your clear heart full of love and awareness and love through forgiveness. Okay, So, but here's the thing, you can still forgive them and you can still course correct, just with the awareness, like they don't have what you need, and you take care of what you need. And you don't put yourself in a situation where your needs and what you value are compromised. I feel like someone needs to hear that. Do I need to say it again? Don't put yourself in a situation where your needs and what you value is compromised. Can I get an amen? Okay. So live, learn, heal, apply the lesson, right? So you may say, I'm ready to forgive. Maybe you're there and you let the experience go. Wait a minute. I have to read my notes here. So you may say, I forgive and let the experience go. Okay, so you may say that I'll forgive and love them from a distance. Like I'm not going to have the conversation I want. I'm never going to get what I want from that person because I don't think they have it. So then you begin to integrate the lesson. You just use it. You use all of it. What did I learn? Where's this familiar? What have I been believing about myself? And what do I want to do differently moving forward to honor my needs going forward? So just remember, when we're hurt by someone, it is a rich place to clean out our own beliefs. All the things we're believing about ourselves that were created in other times when our needs weren't met. Remember, I kind of stumbled on this, like, yeah, that's the origin of our negative core beliefs. A need is not met, so we make something up about ourselves to make peace with the situation we're in, and then that becomes the drivers of who we think we are and how we teach people to be with us, until we wake up and say, that's not the authentic me, and I deserve so much more. So this is the tricky part, and this might be kind of complicated, but bear with me. Well, first let me say this part. It's about identifying what are some of the core beliefs connected to, say, being lied to. Like maybe I don't matter, I'm not worthy, I'm not respected. Have you ever been lied to and you felt really triggered by that? What negative core belief got ignited in that when that happened to you? Now, so you take the negative core belief that has the most energy for you and ask, here it is, drum roll, please. This is where we turn around to do more of our inner work. Now taking this negative core belief that has the most energy and ask, where am I doing that to myself? Or where am I reinforcing that negative core belief? What behaviors am I consistently doing that reinforces the negative core belief? For instance, if the negative core belief that gets triggered when somebody hurts you and you're waiting for them to reset that for you or to apologize for you so you could feel better about you, they have led you to a wound. And yes, they're not responsible for the core wounds. You are. So now I'm just taking us into a deeper dive here. Okay. Yes, of course. Ultimate healing would be, especially with a good friend, I really see how I compromised something you value. I really see how I hurt you. I believe you when you tell me what it was like for you. That's key. That is so key. Because if you ever had an apology where you're like, they are discounting what I just told them. Which, on another aside, I don't want to get on the narcissistic bandwagon, but I have studied a bit, and one of the things that's very striking is that narcissists don't tend to know how to apologize because it's too painful. They can't see themselves in any flaw. So that's another video, but there's actually, I can't remember the woman. I looked at a video from her. She's kind of out there with her talking about narcissism, and she's excellent. And I'll put her in the description because it's not coming in this moment. Okay, but back to us. What can we do for our healing? Because if somebody can't meet us where we long to be met, we pick up the mop. We keep cleaning. Okay. All right. So you take the negative core belief that has the most energy and you ask, where am I reinforcing that negative belief? Say it's, I don't matter. So say you have some patterns of you're not keeping up with your self-care. You're neglecting yourself. You're reinforcing I don't matter, right? So now bear with me in this next part, because it's going to sound complicated, and I'll try to slow it down, and I hope you get it. And I hope maybe I can figure out how to say it a clearer way. I'll take responsibility, but let's see how it goes. If you resonate with a core negative belief, like say, I don't matter, we'll use that as an example, and you're desiring others to reflect back to you that you matter, while you are consistently reinforcing the belief with your own actions and your own patterns, you are teaching others to continue to meet you in the way you are meeting yourself. I know that's hard to take in, but that's really the heart of healing. This is the deep root. This is the deep, people don't have power to hurt you. Eleanor Roosevelt's beautiful quote, no one can make you feel inferior without your permission. This points to, okay, yeah, I'm not denying or discounting when people do bad things to people, but especially if they can't take accountability and acknowledge and do the proper apology work to help the person who was harmed heal, that's up to us, right? It's up to us. So put simply, I say, so maybe that I made it simpler, I hope, but put simply, your unconscious programmed beliefs are broadcasting to others through your affect, through your actions and your behaviors, how you speak to yourself, how you speak about others, and what behaviors you're putting up with from others. So that's another way you can backtrack. I'm wanting this person to see me as that I matter. Where am I not seeing myself as I matter? Where am I not treating myself as I matter? And where am I teaching others they can meet me there? Okay, so all this to say, it always comes back to inner work, and it always comes back to us. So what's the next logical step that you can take? Sure, you can forgive without having conversations, and you can forgive from a distance, and you can still send love, but that's shortchanging yourself. So the remedy, the natural remedy, I'm sure you could figure it out, is forgive yourself. Offer yourself the gift of forgiveness first. Forgive you. And then you shift your beliefs. You offer yourself compassion for, whatever your part of that interaction was. And you keep doing the deep cleaning with forgiveness for yourself. I forgive myself for being in that situation. I forgive myself for allowing that person to treat me that way. I forgive myself for unconsciously teaching people that I wasn't worthy of more. So that's my take. Forgiveness is one of those really difficult things in life. It's something that I had to grapple with. I knew in a few recent situations that the past me no longer was willing just to forgive and be okay when it was still hurting me. And so what I offer today, I hope this came from many, many months, I'm telling you, of prayer. And I hope there's something in here that meets you where you need to be met. And I do celebrate the gift of forgiveness. But what I'm saying in all of this is take it in for you first. And maybe take a look at what you've learned about forgiveness. On a Christian path, we're told to forgive 70 times 7, to keep forgiving. But I'm inviting us to expand the perspective. Yes, I know a lot of spiritual teachings talk about dualism, but we are in a dualistic situation. We are souls in a human experience. And transcending all the time doesn't really help us navigate the human experience. This is just my newfound philosophy, and I'm curious what you think. Anyway, that's what I wanted to share. I hope it helps you. What do you believe about forgiveness? Have you been grappling with forgiving? Where are you stuck? Are you in a log jam? Did anything help you? Tell me what it is. Please comment as much as you want. And thanks for being with me. I'm always honored by anyone who takes the time to listen to what I want to share from my heart and soul to you. And I do hope it helps. All right. Peace be with you. Peace be with you. Until next time, take good care of yourself and nurture your beautiful soul. Your potential is needed.